I just
Damn.
request to join
Okay,
you.
we're just waiting for Yinka to join, and then we'll get kick-started. Oh, okay. I see that you joined.
I
Are we
requested
good?
you.
I saw that you joined. Invite. Why is Inks Travel unable to join?
Maybe because I
Please,
requested. Hold on, let me send
it
me an
says that you're
invite
unable.
again.
You get it?
I did, but then
Just waiting for Inka to
could
join in, and then we'll kickstart our chat.
there we go.
Ooh, very nice. Oh, this is not gonna work. Did you see it? Did you
The
hear that?
Yeah, so the way to that is if
Okay, let me put on my earphones. Sorry guys, some technical error because it's our first time live streaming both on YouTube and Instagram. So we are, just give us 5 minutes to settle this. Can you hear me?
I
Should we try
can
it again?
hear you. Can you
I'll try
let
inviting you
me?
again.
Yeah,
You think that'll work?
I think it is working. There's no feedback. I'm hearing myself
Yeah.
back on your computer.
Yeah, I'm hearing you too.
Turn down
Okay.
your turn down your Instagram.
Oh yeah. Okay, how's this? Are we good?
This is fine, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, sweet. Hi everyone. This is exciting. We've got Yinka here and it's me, Isabel. Today we decided to talk more about like making this topic on making friends while traveling. So let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Yinka, where are you calling in from?
Hey, I don't want to be telling people my locations. I'm a little
Location. You're in
low key.
outstation.
No, just kidding. I'm in a different continent that most people know where I'm from, but I'm in Australia right now. So
Very cool. And I'm calling in from Bali. It's quite interesting how we met, and that's why we wanted to talk more about it. Um, Maybe, Inka, do you want to give a brief introduction about yourself and your brand, and then we'll take turns?
yeah. So what's up, people? It's your boy Yinks, and yeah, Yinka. I'm from Kenjiran. I usually say so. I'm Canadian Nigerian, born and raised in Nigeria, but I also add the Mexican part to it as well. Um, I am a travel content creator. Try to show you guys on how to really just travel the world. I'm your travel guide. That's pretty much my branding for now. I am also an expert in being an expat, as this is the sixth country that I'm living in right now. And yeah, that's it really about me. By profession, I'm an engineer and also a marketer as well. Belle, what about
Very cool.
yourself?
Yeah, so hi guys, I am Isabel and I run this travel blog called Bel Around the World. I've been doing it for, oh my gosh, can you imagine? This is my 10th year now. So that's pretty wild.
Nice.
For as long as I remember, I've been like always journaling and documenting my travels. And so that's how this travel blog was born. And I've been traveling full time for the past 6 years. now transitioning more into slow travel. So creating content both on the blog and on YouTube, which is why we're live today. And also teaching other content creators and other travel lovers how to travel more efficiently, how to make money while traveling and live that lifestyle freedom.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a bit about how we both met. It's quite crazy, I think, like how our worlds collided and like how far we've come since then.
Yeah, so I met Bel in Thailand at a TBEX conference. So TBEX is a conference that was originally for bloggers, and I'm not a blogger, but I guess now I am. Bel's trying to turn me into a blogger. But yeah, no, it's mostly for travel bloggers, right? And it's like a 3-day conference, 4-day conference, I think. And yeah, that was how I met Belle. So we got on a press trip, I think, together, either before the conference or after the conference. And then we just connected pretty well. And yeah, we just stayed friends after the conference, really. And so that's how I'd say I met you, right? Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, that's amazing. Actually, so TBEC stands for Travel Blogging Exchange, if I remember. It's one of the
Correct.
longest standing networking travel event for like travel content creators, travel journalists, and different new media. Well, basically any professional in the travel field. It was also my first TBEX. It was actually my first TBEX, yeah, after so many years of blogging. And I was a speaker, Yinka. We happened to be on the same press trip. So basically, a press trip is when the travel brands decide to host a bunch of travel creators together to experience a destination or to experience an experience. And this could include like sponsored hotels. This could include um, transportation, hosted transportation, hotels, accommodation. Sorry, I just repeated it. And food. So basically, the
Okay.
whole trip is covered for. And the job of us as creators, is to create content and promote that destination in our most authentic way possible.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's quite how. Hmm?
and I think we actually both I think we were on the first pre-fam trip, then we got on the same fam trip after the conference, if I'm not mistaken. I think. Or maybe we only got on the press trip after. But I feel like I already
I think
met
it was a
you
press trip.
at the pre. Okay, so it was the press trip that we met. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, I mean, travel creators aside, even as regular travelers, conferences are a great way to meet friends. I started really traveling on my own maybe about 2 years ago. And that's when I decided to put myself out there because I felt like as a blogger, it can feel a bit lonely sometimes just doing your own thing and working online in your own bubble. And so that's why 2 years ago, I decided to get myself out there and attend more travel conferences like T-Bex is one, Traverse is another one that I went to in Czech Republic. And then I also started attending more digital nomad events. So I
Hmm.
went to Bensko Nomad Fest, which from there I've met, well, okay, yeah, the digital nomad world is also kind of small. It's like I met these
Correct.
bunch of people at Bensko Nomad Fest in 2023 and 2022. I attended 2 years in a row. And then it's pretty wild how everyone kind of meets everywhere else because there are popular digital nomad hubs, right? So
Right.
it's like I go to Chiang Mai and then there'll be a little mini Bensko meetup. And then now I'm in
That's right.
Bali and I have a friend that I met 2 years ago, like for my first Bensko Nomad Fest, and she's here visiting for a while. And I have friends that are also planning to, it's quite an addictive conference to attend because
Yeah.
everyone's from everywhere, and the only time they will all meet up together is when
The
the
conference
Nomad Fest
happens.
happens again. Yeah, so it's quite like heartwarming, I would say, to keep returning and attend these events.
Yeah, and I think also another great thing about that as well, like meeting people through conferences, is one, they're like-minded people already, so you don't need to like, you get over the
Mm.
whole thing of, hey, where are you from, that those like types of questions. Like these are already people, as nomads or travelers, whatever we call ourselves, we get these questions that sometimes just like, okay, where are you from, la la la, like it's old, we get it, but then you just move on into deeper stuff, right? So all those basic questions kind of just pass by, but then you also create your own community through these conferences. That is what I saw, like at TBEX, that I remember at least. Like, I had this cool community of people that we were with, right? It was just really, it was like four of us together, and we kind of just did things together, like throughout every day, and it was really nice to connect with them, and like we're still friends after the conference. We talk at
Yeah.
different times and stuff, and like you check up on each other once in a while and whatnot. So it's just an amazing way. And then, hey, are you going to the next TBEX conference, or are you going to this other conference, or whatever it is, right? Or hey, where are you going to be in the world? And that's another place that you can possibly be at, and like you've made friends from just having like-mindedness in the same niche topic, whatever it is. So it's really, conferences is definitely a great way of like making friends when you travel solo or by
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, I absolutely agree. Like because of the like-mindedness, you already cut off that one layer of filter, and it's like one other interest that bonds you both together. I
Absolutely.
would say what other ways? I would say, when I go to a new country or a new destination, I would look for friends and communities. I would turn into online platforms like Facebook groups, like WhatsApp chats, even Instagram. If let's say I wanted to create with a fellow travel creator who is based in a location, I would sometimes, and I've been following that person for a while. I would sometimes just like reach out
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, I'm in town. Do you want to, catch up in person or something like that?"
I think honestly those are great options. So for instance, uh Facebook has been really great, especially being a black traveler. There's That's just a thing that a lot of us actually look for, is other black people traveling, because it's not a lot of us that are out there, and you always want like that community. So for instance, I'll shout out Black in Bali. Black in Bali was something that I found through Facebook, and once I got into Bali, it was easier for me to get plugged in. So automatically I already had a group of people that I could already align myself with, and then from going to their events and meeting people, then like you get to meet either the presidents, the people that are running the events, then you get to meet other travelers as well, or other like, because there's different types of travelers, right? Because we have some people that are like either vacationing. For instance, in Bali, we get a lot of people that are just there for vacation. But then there's people like us where we're there more. And I think there's even a difference, because there's people that are short term, long term, like people that are there for a while, but then there's people that are there like for a long, long while, right? So in Bali, even. So then those are different kinds of travelers, right? And like you said, online platforms. So through Facebook, I think that was how I also heard about Nomio, where then I
Mm.
was able to get their WhatsApp. And then I don't know if I actually connected you to Nomio, and you eventually actually, I feel like I sent you, or maybe
Mm.
Sarah connect. I don't know, but I just remember like you eventually ended up, oh, I connected Sarah to Nomio, I believe. And she
Mm-hmm.
eventually just had way more friends from Nomio than I even did. Like she was
Yeah.
even the one that brought me back to the group. Like, hey, come hang out with these people. I'm like, not really, but whatever. But like, it was cool. So it's just like you go one place and then you find other like resources or other outlets. And it's honestly just meeting one person. Once you meet one person, you don't know
Mm.
how open that could like help you out as well, right? So I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Nomio. So Nomio, I think Nomio is more commonly found within Southeast Asia. It's kind of like a right, if I'm not wrong. Do you have that in
I
Australia, for
think
instance?
no, honestly, I have not even
No.
checked.
Yeah, I think it's more commonly. I feel like that Nomio, this community is born out of connecting nomads together, and so it is. I think the biggest hub is Bali, and then they have a bunch of like
Has to
Southeast
be.
Asia groups. Yeah, like for example in Chiang Mai as well. So that's a great way to start making friends. But of course, like you just need to know some like one person, right? So like friends of friends is also a great way to like grow that network and not feel like you're going into a room full of strangers. Because sometimes for me with Nomio events, I'm not always very excited about it because it scares me. I feel like everyone already knows everyone, and especially if you're the new kid in town, it can feel a bit intimidating. And so sometimes, like, yeah, I would try and push myself outside my boundary. If let's say maybe I have a friend to attend it with, or if it's a smaller group, they organize a lot of different events for all kinds of interests like wine tasting or color painting or I don't know, playing with dogs, adopting, that those kind of kinds
Right.
of events.
But then I have
Um,
a question for you though. So like for someone like you that's maybe more not I guess introverted or but more shy to doing stuff like that, what advice would you give other people to be able to really get out of their shell? Like in the sense, like for instance, remember during Christmas there was the you didn't want to go by yourself because
oh
it's
yeah,
intimidating and stuff, and I get it. And then I kind of
yeah.
had some plans already. So how do you actually just like decide, you know what, screw this, I'm just gonna go and yeah.
Yeah, good question. So like I said, if you already have a friend, that would be my default safety mechanism. I'll try and get a friend to join me in group in events like this, or maybe I'll choose like maybe a slightly smaller event, smaller scale, where it will be easier, more it's a more intimate group. Or maybe I'll join like a women's group, so then it feels safer, however you feel safer in. Or maybe it's an interest group that you are very confident in. Maybe you
Mm,
excel in, I don't know, maybe you're great at startup talk or you can geek out on crypto. And so joining these talks and knowing that there are other like-minded people who are geeking out on the same topics as you would make you feel a bit safer and less intimidating. So I would start there.
gotcha. That's good.
Yeah.
And also, for people who are also not aware, there's also like they have social events as well that makes it so that it's not too scary to actually join these things. Like there's like they could either have a place at a pub or at a bar or something, or very low key that it's not actually super intimidating to meet people. And everyone there is typically like solo travelers, nomads, stuff like that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
actually pretty very elementary for you to be able to like meet people. It's not
Yeah.
super like scary.
Yeah, activities like when you're doing stuff together, it kind of bonds you together already. And I know Facebook
Correct.
groups, they have that Facebook events, depending on where you are. When I was in Bansko, Bulgaria,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook events was more the thing there, besides the WhatsApp groups.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then speaking of WhatsApp groups, so then how do you get into a WhatsApp group if you don't have one? If you don't like, yeah, how do you get into a WhatsApp
Hmm.
group if you were
Yeah,
a
I
new
think you would have
person?
to know someone, right? You have to know someone who invites you in or tells you about it. But usually, as long as you're traveling to, oh yeah, that's the other question, right? Like how, if you're traveling solo, I get this question quite a bit. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you have any questions, you can pop the questions in the comments below and we'll answer them. It's not just us talking. But I wanted to answer this
Right.
question on like, how do you decide, like, um, this person wants to start traveling solo. How do you decide where to go and how to be safe?
For
So,
me, there
mhm,
because I think for me there'll be a lot of different factors considering that the fact that when I'm a black male. So I ultimately that has to be the first thing that I had to think in mind is this place I'm traveling to safe for black person? Because if not, then I can't, there's no way I'm gonna be able to travel to that country. Like I'm not going to a country where I'm gonna be dealing with a lot of like problems just because I'm traveling there. Just it doesn't make any sense. So I have to do my research on that. Then ultimately, secondly, is I have to see if there's a sort of like community. So like I said, for instance, with Bali, it was very easy because I'd already seen stuff like Black in Bali, and the community was very, very was running really well and was really good. And so you could see people like making posts and commenting and stuff like that. There was also, for instance, I was in Tulum before, so there's Black in Tulum. So like it's literally like they could be Black in anywhere. There's Black Mexpats pages. There's whatever I was looking for, I could really find. And so if I want to find um, the community for me, then I just research it, and that will be like my go-to. Like if people are telling me good stuff that look like me, that represent someone like myself, then that's a good sign that hey, I could try and venture into this place. So that's how I will pick my location for my personal like experience. For you, might be different, right? You're an Asian lady, so how do you go about with that?
Yeah, I like that we have like totally different perspectives. So I'm like
Mm-hmm.
female, Asian when I travel solo, and I've been to some iffy destinations. Like when I first started traveling, people would tell me, "Hey, don't go to the USA because guns are legal there. There are so many homeless people," which are both true, but still. And then I will go to South America, and they're like, "Wow, you don't even speak the language. How do you keep safe
Survive.
out there? Mexico and mafias, there's all sorts of stereotypes there. um but I would say the most fundamental thing when you're thinking about traveling solo to safe destinations and possibly make friends while being on the road is to, like you said, do your research, speak to people who have done it, who've been there, done it. So that's a great way. Like that's reason why people are asking us about it, because we've experienced it and we can share more about our experiences and where we feel safer in. But also to pick places, I always tell them to pick places where there are, like, you already know there's an evident maybe travel community there, or an evident nomad community there. Plus with nomads, it's very easy to, like, nomads in general, I think, are very welcoming, open, friendly people. And so there are always events
Absolutely.
to bring all this, like, this solo nomads together, which is why it's less intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so places like, for example, in Asia, places like Bali, like Thailand, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, they're quite
Mm-hmm.
nomad friendly and
Correct.
travel friendly. I would say, like, all the islands in Thailand, people are always going there. Where else?
Uh,
Yeah.
so for travel, then I think then yeah, you start going to places like Philippines, because so let's say you're not a nomad, right? You're just wanting to go to a place for travel. Well, anywhere pretty much in Asia, at least in Southeast Asia, you're pretty good. Like you're gonna get nice, like probably beaches, food, warmth. Like people are really, really nice for the most part, and it's pretty affordable. I think those are four major things about Asia in general. Maybe
Mm.
not Singapore, Sally, sorry. uh,
Yeah.
but but outside of like that, I think yeah, you get all of that with other countries typically. But then
Yeah.
if you're a nomad, like you said, there's also websites that give you like I can't remember the name of the website. Nomad. That there's this website that rates or ranks the number 1 to like 50 nomad
Mm.
locations right now. So then you could see where a lot of people are, and then you have an idea of like, hey, this is where like these people are. So then you could easily just go there. Like if you just search it up and then just hop yourself on a flight to that community and like build a community there.
Yeah.
Nomads go pretty much in packs. Like
Yeah,
they all
that's true.
go pretty
But
much.
even as regular travelers, a lot of beach destinations are always popular. Like the backpackers like to go there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and it's always very easy to meet people on the road. Like, let's say, maybe, I mean, the easiest way would be to stay in hostels, right? You stay and you share the same frustration of somebody snoring in your room, in your dorm. And then, and usually they have shared spaces like the kitchen where you get to make friends. So that's also another way to make friends while traveling.
Absolutely, I
Um,
agree with you.
Mhm.
I think something
Even
that people look down on. Sorry, I was gonna say something that people look down,
mm,
especially from the Americas, like, is people think hostels are like ghetto or like this piece of crap thing. I get it. It's not for everyone, but if you're solo, young, need to travel, like not super expensive, get yourself to a hostel. You would not regret the experience, I think. Just do the research again on the type of hostels that you're staying in. I lived in a hostel for 9 months and I definitely did not regret it. Like,
wow,
not one bit. Yeah, I don't know how I did
wow.
that, but I I don't regret it.
Yeah, and
Not
also
once.
on that note, hostels also organize events regularly because a lot of people who join who stay in hostels are usually solo travelers. So they organize a lot of events, pub crawls, things like that, and you guys can bond over going crazy and
Mhm.
over similar adventure activities. So we've got one question by KO Abroad. How should someone who is starting out as a digital nomad approach those travel conferences?
Honestly, from my personal experience, so like the first time I met Belle, that was also my first travel conference. Biggest thing is be open minded. Just be going in there to learn as much as you can and network. Biggest thing is network, network, network. You don't know who you might be networking with. Like really, you have no clue. So Christian, actually, the way I met you was because so KO abroad is Christian. Hey, the way I met him was through Sea Loud Travels. So Chris, and the way I met Chris was through like T-Bex as well. Actually, T-Bex, Chris was one of my gang members in our T-Bex. Like we did everything pretty much together. So we were just open-minded. We were chatting, we connected, we had similar like vibes and stuff. And then we met with like Raksha and a few other people, and like we all just connect. You just vibe. You vibe. You know, you have certain vibes with certain people, and you just network with people. And so that was what we did, and it was a great time, honestly, one of the best times I've ever had. And like through that one person, he might be able to connect it with another person, which connects it to another person, which then it's just like it goes really like it's weird. So yeah, so that's what I would say is when you're starting out with conferences, be open-minded. Don't look down on anyone. Also, yeah, like T-Bex was where I literally met Guillaume, who has saved me hundreds, thousands of dollars, and has helped me single-handedly like a lot of like missed flights and issues that I've had with like flights. I miss a lot of flights. Anyways,
Whoa.
but like he's helped me a lot. So yeah, like, and I met him at a T-Bex conference and stuff. And so we literally, I just saw him, we did a pre-trip together, and we just started chatting like one of the days, and we got into like deep conversations, and then finds out that he's done this and this and that, and like we connected and we've stayed in contact ever since. Like yeah, we don't talk every day, but we are definitely much in touch. Like he texted me this morning actually, and I was like, oh hey, like, so you just don't know who you might meet at these conferences. Really, you have no clue. So that's how I would like encourage you to take those conferences. What
Yeah.
about you, Belle? Do you
I
have
think
any more thoughts?
I think we can approach this both from a digital nomad perspective. So people who are working online but are not travel creators, and also like of course as a travel creator. I agree with everything you said. Oh, by the way, he said love the water bottle reel. Save me on that tip. Seems like
Nice.
there's a story there. But basically, okay, yeah, as a travel creator, some conferences to go to, definitely TBEX is a big one. I feel like it's tailored more towards beginner to intermediate content creators. TBEX, check it out. They organize conferences in every continent each year. So Africa is one, North America is one, Asia is one. So within Asia, it encompasses Australia and New Zealand as well. And that is a great way to learn all kinds of content creator tips, from video to blogging to copyright stuff, things like that. And there are usually breakout sessions, and they will organize
Hmm.
little groups, so it's easy to mingle around with people. And usually more often than not, I think what's crazy about this whole like travel content creator field is that most of the time your friends are all online. You probably have interacted them through a group on Facebook, or maybe you have collaborated with each other with both of your blogs at some point, or some emails have been exchanged, or maybe you have attended similar events before online. And then going to these conferences, you get to see them in real flesh, and that's like very exciting because
Yeah.
it's like the bond that you initially forged becomes stronger when you meet each other in person, and then you realize
Mm-hmm.
what the real personality of that person is, instead of just imagining that online persona. So I highly recommend it. And it's also a great way to meet everyone from everywhere, because as travel creators, we are always in different parts of the world. Like I haven't even been to Canada, and you were based in Canada for a long time. I don't remember the last time I was in Australia, probably a couple years ago. But it's these
Mm-hmm.
conferences that bring us together. And I can say the
Right.
same for digital nomad conferences as well, which is also a great way, even if you are a content creator, because like the one Nomad conference I attended was Bansko Nomad Fest. It happens in summer every year, and I went in without any expectations. But then I came out of it knowing, like, being inspired by all these different people with all these different online jobs that they're doing, and the different directions that they're heading. And it just opens my world up to people beyond just travel or content creators. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's really fun, because I feel like there's a type, like as a content creator, there's a type, like you're not afraid to show up in public. You're not afraid to
Mm-hmm.
share your opinions. There's just a certain personality towards being a content creator. And then you go to these
Absolutely.
nomad events, and maybe you meet a developer who is, or an SEO expert who is very introverted, very geeky, and they offer something else differently. And then what else are they? I don't know. There are just so many. Like, maybe they are coaches. Maybe they are. What other
Yeah.
occupations do I? Yeah.
Like
So
people in e-commerce and all those things, and like
mm,
there's so many different like branches and levels of remote
yeah,
work now. And like you're right,
yeah.
it's not everyone that's a content creator, not everyone is in the travel space. Like there's people that are doing way more things than just the travel. Like travel space is just one little thing, right? For us, like even Christian, you're a chef. So maybe
Wow.
not necessarily like that you're a travel chef, whatever. You could just be a chef that does stuff remotely. So that's its own thing, right? But yeah, if like travel is is the thing that you're trying to niche into more and like focus on, then yeah, those travel specific conferences are great. But if not, things like Nomad Fest is also great for remote workers and stuff.
Yeah, even your specific whatever field you're in, there are conferences for specific fields. Like I've been attending SEO conferences, and the people I meet are like a whole different ball game. They're Some of them are really smart, so it really pushes you to think outside of your box. Since, like, I run my own business, it can be a bit like uninspiring, a bit, you might be stuck in your own rut. So
Absolutely.
speaking with people in your field can really open your eyes up to a lot of other business ideas. There is, like, I know in my field, there's like affiliate marketing world that a lot of people will attend, I think in Bangkok, end of the year, each year.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are also,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the video space, there's also like VideoCon, which happens, I think, in the US. So yeah, basically any kind of conferences there are for all types of fields out there.
Correct.
Let's
So
see. Do we have
then,
any other questions? Oh yeah, you wanted to continue?
no, I was gonna say then moving on from like conferences and online, then we talked about hostels. Then what other like ways are there, I guess, to meet people as
Yeah.
travelers?
As a solo traveler, some of the other ways I've met local friends include maybe like your Airbnb host, maybe you're renting a room from them, and then you get to see them when you're within the home confines. So that's a great way to meet locals. But then again, that's like one host. But that's still a great way to
Right.
really start from there, and then maybe they have local recommendations or local groups for you to join. There are also, I think, language groups. If let's say you are in a foreign language and
Correct.
foreign language country and you want to learn the language, there are foreign language groups that they organize locally for everyone
Hmm.
to
So
join.
kind of like classes and stuff almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think in adding on to that as well is like, so in the US, I found it here in Australia as well. There's a app or website called Meetup. So Meetup is almost kind of like Nomeo, I guess, actually, where people have like it's a website and then there's different events that happen throughout the city. And so you just have to look for what interests you, and then you could just like join that group through that. So like for instance, if it's you play soccer and that's how you want to meet people that are into soccer, then meetup.com, and then just look for like the what is it called? Look for the sports or interests that you have, the hobby that you might have, like you said, if it's painting, and then that way you get to meet more locals. So, because with meetup groups, it's typically more local people and not necessarily like nomads or travelers and stuff. And then that way you're like, oh, you're actually getting to meet a lot of locals.
mm, that's true. Yeah, local
Mm-hmm.
events.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I would say co-working spaces. If let's say you're staying there long enough, oops, and
Absolutely.
yeah, you're working from there. I found a lot of my friends from Bali through co-working events at my co-working space.
Mm-hmm. I
Mm,
think that's very true because at co-working spaces, yeah, it's another way to connect with people. And you're also right, like co-working spaces usually tend to do events too, right?
yeah.
So those are also free ways to get to connect like with other like-minded travelers or solo travelers as well. That's true. For me, actually, another way that I've been able to meet people, of course, is through church. So, because I'm a
Mm,
Christian, I go to church. So, like, that's a great way for me to get to meet people that are like minded. And especially if it's like they have like small groups and stuff, I always try to get myself plugged into a place of worship, and then I get to meet people through that as well. So that's for me one of the things that has worked really well for me. Yeah.
yeah, that's very cool. I wanted to pop in and also interject by saying that we are hosting this live, probably same time every week. We're both intending to, show up more and discuss more travels. So if you guys are interested, definitely hit the subscribe or the like or the follow button and tune into our channel so that you get notified on when the next topics are. It's quite exciting, this project that we're doing together.
Yep.
I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
and the goal as well is to honestly to try and help more people that like, so we noticed that in each of all of our spaces, like Belle has really experienced, like she said, she's been 10 years now, pretty much remote. I'm pretty new still. I'm going into my third year going remote since 2002. Wow. Okay, actually 2000 and 2001, exactly about 3 years ago this day was when I told them that I gave them my 3 weeks notice, well, on the 21st. But anyways, yeah, so it's been really cool. The journey has been very interesting for sure, and I've had such an amazing like blast and meeting amazing people like Belle. And it's, yeah, we have tons of mutual friends as well. Wait, one thing we forgot to talk about was friends. Oh, we did kind of bring it up, was friends of friends. So we can
Yeah.
also get to meet people through friends of friends. Like we've met like like you've met people through our friend, like we've all met our friends kind of, right? Like Sarah and like
Yeah, that's
Lisa
true.
and
Yeah.
Emily, like that group, for instance, because someone met someone. So I met Sarah. I connected Sarah to Nomio. Sarah got connected with like Emily. I think she connected with that whole group. Sarah connected me with that group. Somehow I think you got connected with Sarah and that group, and everyone just knows each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, I think for me,
So I think
because
that's cool.
I knew Emily and Kieran. I saw them tune in a while ago,
And
but I think
Kieran
they're in
as well.
Cambodia now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Kieran and Emily through a travel blogging conference, and then we decided to meet up for New Year's countdown, and then they would organize like group sessions, and so that's how I got to
Mm-hmm.
know Sarah. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we all got together at one point. It was just like mutual friends,
No.
people living in Bali.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing, right? Is you never ever always get to be together at the same time, especially with such a big group of travelers. Like travelers are travelers for a reason. They don't usually stay put in one place. So the one of the things is, at least if you know someone out there that's like a traveler, you're kind of close with them. There's nothing wrong in asking, hey, or even like friends and family, hey, I'm traveling to Indonesia. So I'm going to Bali. Do you know anyone in Bali that you could connect me with, please? And voila, boom. Sure, I know someone. Oh, Belle's in Bali right now. You should connect with her. I think you guys would be
Yeah.
cool. There you connect, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to Mexico. Yinks. Do you know anyone? Okay, where in Mexico are you going to? Oh, I'm going to Tulum. Oh, great. I could connect you with some people probably that I know in Tulum, or some people that I know in Playa del Carmen, or whatever, right? Like we know people at this point worldwide. And so use your network, use your connections to definitely leverage that, especially if you're a solo traveler, you're nervous and stuff. And even if maybe you don't know us, um, or like you don't know these, like you don't have a huge connection with people, message them on IG. You never know who might be able to connect you with who. Like just reach out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So like recently like maybe 3 days ago on Sunday, I met up with this girl because I was on this travel forum called Travel Massive, where people who are in the
Mm-hmm.
travel space can sign up and be a member. And so you put your location there. The owner, Ian, he was the one that started up Travel Massive. He was like, "Oh, you're in Bali. I know another Singaporean who's also living in Bali. I'm gonna put you guys together." And so, yeah, I mean, we had a common thing that is that we were both Singaporeans and, solo females
Right.
that are living in Bali. And so he put us in touch together. And then, yeah, we get to share stories, which is pretty amazing. We
Yeah,
get to
amazing.
share like everything from working online, running our business to the dating life in Bali. Um, yeah, and like surfing, yeah, all these
Right.
different common topics. So that's one way. And if like depending on how comfortable you are on online, you can also always put a post or a story or a shout out in groups or on your Instagram profile and telling people that you'll be heading to this destination next. Ask them for recommendations, or if there are groups or people that you could they could put you in touch with. So that will be another
Exactly.
way as well.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think in talking about that, because some people like to be private and not really let everyone know about like their whereabouts. I think there's ways where you could do it. For instance, where like I've left Bali for I mean Bali, I've left Mexico for almost 2 years. Most people still think I live in Mexico. Um, I guess they just assume that that's just all I do is just Mexico. But I still ask other friends and I still do some polls about other places, right? Like, and I don't have to say the exact dates of when I'm going somewhere, but I could just put a general question of, hey, I'm going to Bali. Does anyone know anyone going to Bali or whatever, right? So you're like you
Mhm.
could still take care of your privacy even whilst you're doing these polls and these public questions as well. So don't be scared that like people like maybe you just doing your research. Like, hey, maybe you want to go to Australia because you think it might go be a cool place, and then you're asking for recommendations, but then maybe you're not gonna go there. But maybe that's a plan for another year. Who knows? Right? No one really knows. So you don't have to say the exact dates when you're traveling and stuff, so like you can still ask general questions without being super without like risking your privacy.
Yeah, that's very cool. I think we've covered, yeah, most of it. If you guys have any other last questions, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, if you have any ideas or other topics about what you want to hear next week or the next weeks from us, we are happy to talk about that. You can drop them in the comments
Mm-hmm.
below. Even our
Or
travel,
DM
crazy
us.
travel stories. Yeah. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're,
I
yeah.
think I
Mhm.
think one other way I was gonna say, actually, one last one that I remembered was is be nice, like be open and talk. You never know the most random thing like that could happen with you. It could be at the airport. Just for me, it's easy for me to talk, so I get it. For people who are introverted, it could be quite difficult.
Mm,
But honestly, smile. Just smile. Like be open to hearing from other people or to being able to give to other people as well. You don't know what that connection could lead to. You have zero clue. So just, yeah, just be really nice, be open, talk, say hi, smile. It's the basic things. If you're at a coffee shop, hi, you know what, I really love your outfit, or something. Compliment people, and like, oh, and then just you could start having a conversation from there. You have no clue what that one person could connect you to, what other person. Like, you have zero ideas. So the
mm.
travel space, you hear the craziest stories. Like, I'm sure both of us have like crazy, like mind-blowing stories that people are like, huh? So yeah, that's one last take that I'll give anyone here that's wanting to travel solo. Don't be scared. It might be scary at first, but generally it gets better and it gets easier.
Ooh, for me, I could never compliment someone outright. Yeah, I think it's quite, yeah, it's a scary thing. I don't know. But yeah, so like on the reverse, like I would respond to people if, someone tries to strike a conversation with me, like, oh, is the meal good? That sort of thing, then I would, respond in a friendly way. And yeah, speaking of smiling, so I met this Japanese girl while I was doing CrossFit here in Bali, and this was like my first class. So I literally didn't know anyone, but she was Asian, she was female, and we kind of bonded over that. And then we ended up like being really close throughout her time in Bali. She was actually just visiting. And then I remember like we were, doing New Year's countdown together, and I was like, how come nobody
Hmm.
talks to me and like everybody talks to you, right? And then she was like, oh, just smile, make eye contact and smile. That's the one way for a guy to say on you. No, but like hitting on aside, it's more like, being friendly. And I've been told I have a resting bitch face. So yeah, that's something that if I want to be more
You could work on.
approachable, I have to change and yeah, work on it. Definitely. So that I agree with
Yeah,
you.
I think it's important to be aware of some of those things, right? Like, just see yourself, know yourself, who you are, and then just, yeah, like, fix that if that's a problem. If you see that's causing people to not wanting to approach you, then that's definitely something to work on. But if not, yeah, really, like, I'm always smiling. Even when things are hard, like, yeah, even if when things are tough, maybe I might not smile, I'd be whatever, but I always have a very approachable face, I'd say, and I'm open to striking a conversation from anything, really. So that's, for me, that comes easy, so it's not a problem. And I am very aware that I'm blessed, and that's not everyone. But I think for those people that are very like scared to really strike a conversation, just make yourself more open so that people could actually approach you. That way,
That's true.
maybe you don't have to do the going out, but then if they ask you questions, then don't be shy to respond back. Like, actually, like, be nice. Like, hi, yeah, thank you very much, or some, like, actually respond back to them nicely.
Yeah, I think mindset also is important. The one thing that I don't really like about most Singaporeans is that they approach outsiders with, like paranoia or caution. Like if someone tries to start a conversation with them, they would be like, oh, what does this
They
guy
will,
want from me? Like kind of be in a defensive mode and not friendly and approachable at all. So I think having that mindset that, everyone has something to offer, and sometimes it's an
right.
exchange of travel stories. Sometimes you get inspired to, travel to a different place, or yeah, just a
Mhm.
like totally different life story there. That's how I approach like strangers, and that's what makes it easy for me to have such a wide network of friends. And I agree that you're very open and approachable, which is why we're here today. It's quite crazy how far we've come.
Legit. You're probably
Yeah.
what my closest nomad friend that I've met, like that, literally that, like it was that simple, I think. Yeah, easily. Because yeah,
Yeah,
like
because
it's not
most of the
everyone that's easy
mm,
to like connect with and then like keep the friendship up as well. Because everyone has different kinds of lives, right? So it's just hard.
yeah, that's true. Most of your online friends or most of the traveling friends, they come and go. It really takes a special like someone, or like you must really click with someone to be able to withstand that friendship over
Exactly.
distance.
Exactly.
But
That's actually a thing that maybe we talk about in the next like week is how do you maintain those friendships, or
mm,
yeah, like also you're traveling solo, especially if you're a short-term traveler, or if you're a long-term traveler, people are going to be coming in and out of your life like this. So how do you deal with those
mm,
emotional like things? Because like for instance, like you talked about the Japanese girl, right? I'm sure you guys had this amazing like click, but then when they're leaving, like it literally feels like a whole part of you's leaving, and then it's like, man, is that so that was it? Like, so we're never gonna talk again, or what happens? Because you're almost like best friends even for those few weeks, right? And it's there's a lot of emotional ties that happens to this. So how do you actually move on? Or that's also a whole different conversation, I think, that needs to be had actually.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess okay, quick point on how to maintain friendships is definitely exchange contacts, share your social media, exchange your social media handles. And I think that's the surest way passively to keep up with people's travels, because when you're following someone and they see that you're in a certain location, maybe they would pop up in your messages and be like, hey, I'm also in this place, wanna catch up, things like that. um, yeah, so that's a quick one on how to maintain relationships. Of course, if you're a bit more proactive, it's always nice. I have a friend that doesn't use social media, but he makes an effort to say hi and what's going on, how's it going, jump on a call once in a
Mm-hmm.
while. So that's another way. I've got my friend Anthony who says that I'm pretty easy to be friends with. One of the few that has lasted a long time between seeing each other. So me and Anthony, we go way back. He is from the US. He actually hosted me one time, 2019 maybe. Yeah, 2019. He hosted me
Wow.
one time. We did like a few road trips together. We did some photo shoots together, and then the pandemic, and then Thailand, right? T-Rex was I went to Thailand, and he was like, "Oh, I'm bound for a trip to Asia. Do you want to do a trip together?" So we ended up, traveling Thailand together for a while. Where else did we go? Oh, and Bali. We did Bali together also. So it was nice for him because like all the way from America, visiting Asia, like
Right.
revisiting Thailand for him, and me, I was the excuse for him to come to Thailand again. And then I got to show
Right.
him Bali. So that was a nice experience. And yeah, as
Mm-hmm.
travelers, I think we're always open to doing things outside of our comfort zone. So that helps with reconnecting and meeting different kinds of people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's big, and I think that's good. Yeah, and I think it's just being open to also keeping in touch. It's never easy. Really, it really isn't. But if someone sends you if you think about someone or something, shoot them a message if you can. It's just a hi, hey, how are you doing? I was just thinking about you. Something as little as that goes a long way, I think. Yeah, and that's
That's
all
cool.
from me, I think.
Yeah, that's all. I think we have trying to wrap this up with for under an hour. But it was nice. Thanks for everyone who tuned in. It was exciting to share our stories with you,
Absolutely.
and hopefully you guys got something out of this topic. If you enjoy such travel topics, make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button, whichever platform you're on, and we will see you next week. If you have any other topics on what you want to hear from us, or if you're interested to get on this live as well, we always welcome like different life stories. Shoot us a DM. Yeah. Anything else to add, Inka?
No, I think that's it for now. Just expect more from us. We'll try and do this as regular as possible. Maybe a couple of weeks here. Maybe yeah, just on in and out. Keep giving you guys more tips and more tricks and more information about everything travel.
Yeah, thanks for your support too, Christian. Shout out to you, and Anthony and Zach, my friends who have tuned in. If you're still around, awesome. I'll see you guys in the next video then. Ciao.
Thank you very much. Bye, guys.
Yeah, and live stream.